If you're thinking to relocating to Fort Lauderdale and you are confused about if you should choose Fort Lauderdale downtown or the Fort Lauderdale suburb, then this video can help you out because we will be going more deep dive into both the areas and let's try to compare and see which could be better for you. My name is Komal Acharya and I'm a local real estate agent in the Florida. And if you're new to my channel, then I make tons of videos about the Florida, pros and cons, cost of living, or I sometimes go and show you the neighborhoods. So don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit that like button. Alright guys, let's dive into the main topic, why you should choose the Fort Lauderdale downtown or the Fort Lauderdale suburb. So now let's first understand where the Fort Lauderdale downtown is located. So more like Fort Lauderdale downtown means east side of the Fort Lauderdale. If you check out on this map, the La Sola Street, and there are up to 60 registered very safe neighborhoods on the east side of the Fort Lauderdale. And what I mean by the suburb of the Fort Lauderdale. So suburb of the Fort Lauderdale is more like the cities around the Fort Lauderdale area. So that's technically is called a suburb. It's not limited to one or two cities. It's, there are couple of cities comes around the Fort Lauderdale. So Fort Lauderdale is more closer towards the beach. If you go on the west side, you may find the Coral Springs, Parkland, Westin, Boca Raton. So as you more go on the west side of the Fort Lauderdale, you may find a lot many good cities like the Coral Springs, Plantation, Boca Raton, Parkland, Westin. So there are a lot many cities on the west side of the Fort Lauderdale. That's something I'm talking about as in suburb. So those are like So now let's understand what is the Fort Lauderdale suburb area. So suburb area is not limited to one or two cities. It's technically a lot many cities are coming around the Fort Lauderdale area. So I'm just focusing more on the Broward County. So if you check out on the west side of the Fort Lauderdale on the map, you may find Parkland, Plantation, Davie, or Coral Springs, Sunrise. So there are a lot many cities. So basically you may have a lot many choices if you are choosing to live in the suburb area. Number one thing I would like to get it clear is this is not like apple to apple comparison because both the living lifestyle is completely different. So you may have to choose depends on what you need to do or what you visualize when you move to Florida. So both areas are good. I mean, there's nothing wrong to live in a downtown or there's nothing wrong to live in a suburb, but always any of the area you choose, there is always pros and cons. So in this video, I'm just going to give you the overview about the living lifestyle of the both areas. So number one factor is the proximity. So if you have to travel a lot to the international airport, like a Fort Lauderdale International Airport, then definitely the downtown area could be the good choice for you because the airport is pretty close if you choose to live in a downtown. So many people, who has a traveling job, they like to live in a Fort Lauderdale downtown because in that case, they can straightforward go. So if you choose to live in the suburb, then the airports are not that close compared to the downtown area. Again, it's not too far, so it just depends how many times you have to travel in a week. If you once in a while, if you have to travel, then it doesn't matter. Number two reason I would like to compare is like a traffic. If you live in a Fort Lauderdale downtown, you definitely get used with the traffic because just imagine Fort Lauderdale is the most visited city among the tourists. Almost like 80 million people every year in and out just on the tourist, on a tourist part. So I'm not even comparing the people living in the Fort Lauderdale. So Fort Lauderdale is the huge, like a very large city and very populated city, almost like 130,000 population you find inside the Fort Lauderdale. So there too much traffic, trust me. It's like if you go not only just the work hours, even off hours, also you travel, it's going to be crazy. So many people who choose to live in downtown, they don't much use even car, especially inside the downtown area. And it's not needed sometimes because everything is very close if you are choosing to live in a Fort Lauderdale downtown. In a suburb, it's all different picture. So in a suburb, you must have a car because without car, you cannot travel anywhere. It's a very, very, very poor public transportation what we have in one of the worst state. It's a Florida. So especially on the suburb area, there are public transportation like a bus, but it's a very, very limited time frame, and none of us use the bus. So if you choose to live in the suburb area, then it's a different lifestyle, because you must have the car if you are living in the suburb, and you don't have to you won't encounter traffic. So even though you have to travel from one city to another city, still it's not bad. So it depends on where your work is located, how far you want to travel. So these are the very huge factor when you're deciding to live in downtown versus suburb. My number 3 point would be lifestyle. If you love water, and if you're moving to Florida because of the beach, because of the water, then definitely try to consider the downtown area. It's beautiful. It is beautiful because you may get to see the beach very close. You may get to see the Bay Area very close to your house, and many water activities you can plan like every day. You don't have to literally drive 30-40 minutes to go to the beach or do some water fun activities. If you choose to live in a suburb, lifestyle is a little bit different. I live in Coral Springs area. Even though beach is like 30-40 minutes from our house, but we hardly go to beach because our lifestyle rolls around the work, and you're not much thinking about going to the beach every day. Maybe in a 15 days, one time we go to the beach, just sits there, enjoy sunset or sunrise. But if I've seen people living in a downtown, they like every single day, almost every single day, they go to the beach and enjoy that fun lifestyle. You can also keep the boats, your own kayaks, which can lead to ocean directly from your neighborhood. This brings me to my next point, is the real estate of this area. Florida downtown is completely different from the suburb. Prices are completely different. Per square foot prices are much higher in the Fort Lauderdale downtown versus the suburb. There are a couple of cities which almost has a parallel prices like a Parkland or Westin, but still comparatively the square foot and the year built, if I compare, the Fort Lauderdale downtown prices are much higher. But you get to see the houses which is directly connected to the ocean. Even the oceanfront houses, you may get to see a lot many there. You don't get to see in a suburb. You may find lakefront properties, but not the bayfront or oceanfront properties in the downtown. So I personally like Fort Lauderdale downtown. If your budget is good enough, then definitely Fort Lauderdale downtown houses are beautiful. One drawback I feel is the downtown houses built in a very old time. Fort Lauderdale is actually started building around 1930, and other side on the suburb there are a lot many newer cities you may find which are started building around 1990 even, or 1980s most. But in opposite, in a suburb you may find the cities which were started building around 1980s or even 1990. There's lot many even new construction houses you may find, especially in the Westin or Parkland in the Broward County. But if you go in a Fort Lauderdale downtown, the only one way it's possible many people does this way is they buy the old construction house and try to make it their own. So you can do the new construction, but you literally have to knock out that house. There are a couple of condos or even some of the small neighborhoods are there where there is a new construction happening. So it's not like that you don't find there, but there are only few compared to the suburb versus the downtown. House styles are completely different. In a downtown area, you find many varieties. The lot sizes are small, but varieties are great because those are all customized. Many people just try to make their own plan. So it's not following the cookie cutter plans like in a suburb area. Suburb area communities are more organized community. You may find, you know, like 4 or 5 plants rotating in the one community. My next point is the culture of the both area, culture of the communities of those area. So if you live in a downtown, then it's most of the communities doesn't have a HOA. So it's not like there are not too many combined activities. I've seen people doing it, but in a suburb cities, you may get to see more, you know, fun activities happening with the kids. So on the association also, they organize many like a Thanksgiving or Halloween or even Christmas activities. And I'm a little biased to this because I live in suburb. I've seen it's more safer to live with the younger kids in a suburb versus the downtown, because downtown is most of the communities have the main roads when passing through the community. So I've hardly seen kids playing on the road. If they do, then it has to be monitored. In a suburb, the communities are very safe. I mean, there are like a 3 to 4 mile radius even communities in like a Parkland or Weston, which is like, you know, it's like a small town inside that community. So I've seen many differences between two. So downtown is more like a millennial kind of town because you get to see a lot more nightlife, lot more activities happening throughout the day, even in the night in the downtown area. In reverse to the suburb cities is more like, you know, the family with the kids, especially the younger kids. So that's like more safer and quieter, more like a private lifestyle you may find if you live in a suburb cities. Thank you so much guys for watching my video. And if you'd like to see more videos about this area, even I have made the video about the neighborhoods of the Fort Lauderdale downtown, then check out my channel. You will find tons of videos about the cities in the Florida, especially in the South Florida. So comment me below if you want to know any other cities or any other part of the Florida. I can make the videos for that also. And I will see you in my next video.